My name is Esther. This is podcast number 6. This is a knitting podcast, and I'll just be following the general order of knitting podcasts. So, finished objects, works in progress, and then any acquisitions. And I have a ton of acquisitions this time, but we'll get to that at the end. So, I only have one finished object, and that is a pair of socks. I knit my brother a pair of socks for his birthday every year. And so here they are. I'm not sure if I showed them last time or if they were just a half-finished object. But yeah, I finished these. This is the weekend socks. I believe this is the Sunday pattern. And I will for sure link my Ravelry project page down below so that you can see the pattern and the yarn I used. But this is the patterning. It's really nice. It's a very easy 4-row repeat. I did a standard heel flap and gusset, and I did these on 72 stitches, US ones, and I did 16 pattern repeats for the leg, and then 24 for the foot, and then just a regular toe bind off. So yeah, these are done. So I'll be sending these over probably later this month. His birthday is not until July, so I'm in no hurry. But yeah, finished a pair of socks, so that's great. This took 73 grams of fingering weight yarn. So that's, and he wears a US men's 10.5. So that's how much yarn it takes for me to make a full pair of 10.5 male socks, is 73 grams. Okay, on to whips. So for my whips, there has been a lot of changes over the past 2 weeks. I have frogged numerous projects, and I have started a handful. This is usually how it happens. I'm definitely a process knitter, so if a project comes to the point that I'm no longer enjoying it, I tend to just frog it and forget it. I'm just a process knitter, and those projects weren't giving me a lot of joy. So the ones I have frogged the rose cardigan. I decided to blend the colors better. I feel like the way that I was originally knitting it was more color blocking, and I wasn't really going for that vibe. So I'm just changing my viewpoints on that project. I frogged the Musselburgh, which is right here. I believe I showed that I frogged it last time I was on a podcast, but I will be knitting this. I'm in no hurry though. It's May. I'm not going to be wearing a beanie anytime soon. So those are the two projects that I have 100% frogged. A project that I frogged in order to restart is my Pinguono. And for the same reason that I frogged the rose cardigan, I just viewed that the Pinguono was more stripy than I intended. So I am more marling the colors now. So I'm redoing the back panel. I'm using all of my scrap yarn. So again, Ravelry project page will be down below, and I am trying to keep extensive notes on this just to see how many grams are used in each section. So yeah, I'm still on the back panel. This is a majority Fangirl Fibers yarn, a majority of it at least. And yeah, I'm marling it better. I have a little process keeper right here just to maintain how many rows I'm doing of this seed stitch. Seed stitch is not the funnest thing to read, like how many rows you've done, but yeah. I'm still loving it. It's so much fun, and it uses so much scraps. So those are the 3 projects that I have frogged. One that I frogged and then restarted. Everything else is I haven't made major changes to. So the one that I've been prioritizing the most recently is the Traveler's Shawl. which I am in the middle of a row, so let me just fix that really quickly. The Traveler Shawl is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. Oh, the Weekend Socks is by, I think it's like Northwest Knits. Northeastern Knits? I will have it down below. The Pinguono is by Stephen West. And this is the progress that I have on the Traveler's Cowl by Andrea Mowry. I am using Noro Kakagori in the colorway 29, and I am now on the decreases. So this cowl is knit back and forth, and then it's seamed at the very end. So I am now doing like little decreases, but yeah. I was a little hesitant on using like a primarily cotton yarn for a cowl, but I think this is going to be great for the summertime when hiking or biking or doing any outdoor activities that I want a little bit more sun protection. So yeah, that's my Traveler's Cowl. And then I did a little bit of progress on the Strier cardigan. I am now done with the yoke, and I am now at the sleeve and arm separation. But I have put this on hold for a little bit. I'm still loving the project, but I have other things that are a higher priority right now. And a full-on half fisherman's sweater is very time consuming. So it's a little daunting to try and finish it in a timely manner. So it's taking a little bit of a hibernation. However, I'm still loving the pattern. This pattern is also by Andrea Mowry, and I'm using Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s Fantasy Coffee House Advent from last year. I believe that's the New Year's Advent. So yeah, this is the Strier cardigan. I am now finished with the yoke increases, and I'm going to go down to body and sleeve. I'm hoping that the body and sleeves take faster. Typically for me, yoke takes the most amount of time for. I'm not quite sure why, because I imagine it's the same amount of stitches and knitting as any other part, but for some reason the yoke always takes me the longest. So, but yeah, done with the yoke of that. And my other bigger project is I finally started fixing my tessellated vest by Andrea Mowry. This is her Rhinebeck pattern from last year. I knit this for last year. I wore it on Rhinebeck. It was beautiful. It was glorious. It was blocked. But I made the chest part too short. So this vest is knit bottom up. And I was in a hurry to finish it last year. So I made it short, which is probably the reason why I was able to finish it in time. But now I'm going back and just extending it. So this is the front. I am still doing the chest, and then I will be separating for the two straps because this is a vest, and then I'll have to redo the back. But yeah, it's glorious. It's beautiful. I love it. This is using Portal Wool Sport in Huntress, Spin Cycle, the Royal Mile, and I can't remember exactly what this mint color is. Let me see if I have it readily available. Craft Me Not Yarn Co. in Pistachio. So yeah, that is my tessellated vest. So those are all my big whips. However, all of those whips that I just showed you are going to be put on hold because I am doing a test knit for a sock pattern. And this is my first time ever doing a test knit. I've knit plenty of socks before, but seeing how this is my first test knit, I kind of want to prioritize it, make sure I finish it in time, and write extensive notes and do the proper thing. So yeah, my priority is my sock test knit, And I don't have very much on it. I just have like the littlest toe of life. It's I'm test knitting toe up, and I yeah, I don't really know what else I can really say about it. I know I can post on Instagram, but I'm not sure if I can show it in YouTube. Well, either way, it's not like you can really see anything. It's a toe. I'm using this, which is, I believe, well, I know it's from East Coast Yarn. That's the dyer. And it's something pistachio. Maybe pistachio something. But anyway, this is the color. I am test knitting a lace pattern, so I think that color is gonna really shine brightly in this yarn. So yeah, that is my test knit for my sock. The only other sock project that I have that's just on the go because it's pretty mindless is my dear Bijon socks from the 52 weeks of socks, and I am now at the gusset increases. This is also on hold, but this is the sock that I keep in my purse because it's pretty mindless. The lace test knit pattern is not as mindless, so. But yeah, this is my other sock. I am still on the first sock, just gusset increases. So yeah, those are all my whips. Well, no, I missed one. I did start a sock for May 4th. This is a Star Wars, I believe this is R2-D2 from Mustache Yarn, and I just started some cuff down socks, but again, this is going to be on hold until I can finish that test knit. So I don't really know why I'm showing all of these to you, seeing how I'm not going to be able to really do any progress on them. But yeah, anyway, that's all my whips. Now on to acquisitions. So I have a lot of acquisitions. For one thing, I did go to Maryland Sheep and Wool, so I bought a lot at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and then my Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s pre-order came in, and that was a lot. And then finally I got my Freckled Whimsy Halloween subscription that came in. So a lot of things just came in all at once within the last 2 weeks. I'm usually not this big of a purchaser, but it just happened this way. So let's go from the least to the most. So I got my Freckled Whimsy Halloween subscription. Yeah, this is called Halfway to Haunts. I got it in Serendipity, which is 75.25, fingering weight 460 yards per 100 grams. And I'm just loving the colors. I think they're so vibrant. And I really want to knit these up. I really, really want to. But I really have too many whips. But yes, this is next on the docket after I finish my 3 sock whips that are on the needles right now. The intention with having a yarn subscription would be that I would be able to knit a pair of socks in the month that I receive it, because I typically can knit at least a pair of socks a month, but that's not going to be the case this time. And then just yesterday for Mother's Day, me and my husband, we went down to DC to see my parents, and we stopped by Woolwinders, which is the yarn store that's really close to my parents' house. And I got this yarn. It's 29 Bridges Studio Go-To sock in the color Patina, and it's this beautiful blue with this speckling of orange and yellow. I was originally planning on using this for the lace weight socks or the lace patterned test knit socks, but when I showed my husband the 2 skeins, he went for the green. So I will definitely use this in another something or other. It's beautiful. I have used 29 Bridges yarn before. It is really soft and lofty. I highly recommend. So those are my 2 single acquisitions. And now to the plethora of others. So I did the Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s pre-order for the Fantasy Coffee House, and there's a reason for it. So my Straya cardigan, right, the one right here, this is using the Coast to Coast Fantasy Coffee House. I was worried that I was going to run out of yarn before I can get to the button band, because this advent was 20, I believe it was 20 days, and then one full skein. And for the size I was making, I believe I'm making the size 4. That is like on the cusp of the yarn recommendations that Andrea Mowry gives in her pattern. And I know that she's super generous with her yarn recommendations, but the thing is that when I'm doing, if I'm gonna knit a cardigan, this cardigan, I plan for it to be a pretty low cardigan. I'm short anyway, so usually my sweaters are cropped, but I don't really, I was just feeling a little scared. And because this yarn is not part of her like daily regimen of dyeing, I would have to order it during the pre-order. Like, there was no other option. So I did. And while I was at it, I purchased more. I see one that I forgot to grab, so let me grab that really quickly. I'll be right back. I mean, where can I really go? Okay, I'm back. So the yarn that I'm gonna use for the Straya cardigan is this color. This is What in the Eight Hells is Coffee. This is one of the later colors in the Advent Fade. So I'm thinking, since I started from the lightest color, I'll be going down to the darkest color, and then I'll use a dark color to do the button band and possibly the cuffs. We shall see. I know that the button band is not going to take 100 grams. So, but I bought the 100 gram anyway because I love this color. And I think it'll be a really nice pair of mittens or hats, possibly a pair of socks with the excess that I have, depending on how much excess I have. So yes, What in the Eight Hells is Coffee in the classic sock, which the classic sock is 80/20, fingering weight 400 yards per 100 grams. And then I also got Rose Hip. I got this in the Alpaca Sport, which is 65% baby alpaca, 35% non-superwash extra fine merino, 328 yards per 100 grams. I am gonna use this to make one of Sari Nordland's little shawls, probably the Lalu shawl, but I'm not committed to which pattern. I just know that I do want to make a little shawlette with this, probably from Sari Nordland. I think this color of red is just gorgeous and so vibrant, and it works so well with this brown. All of her colors really do match super well. And then the last part of this acquisition I got as a set. So the plan is to make the Friday tee from Petite Knit. I believe it's the Friday. And that calls for for my size, 300 grams of fingering weight. So this is London Fog plus 1 contrast color. So this is Butterfly Pea. So this is the tea that I plan to make in these colors. I think they will work out so beautifully. And coincidentally, she actually had a sock set that was these 2 colors with this. So if I have extra, like if I have leftovers after all these projects, I could literally make the sock set that she already sells out of the leftovers that I already bought. Yay! I don't know if that made any sense, but in my brain it's like, yes! It's like justifying girl math. But not really. Girl math is not real math. Anyway, so this is going to be a tee. I have made knitted tees before. I've made the Hello for My Colors crop by Jessie Maid, I believe. And that took, well, for one thing, that took less than this amount of yarn. But this is the amount of yarn that Petite Knit recommends. So I'm going to go with the recommendation. But yeah, I'm expecting to have quite a bit of leftovers from this. So that is my Coast to Coast Yarn Co's acquisitions. And now to the Maryland Sheep and Wool. So I went into Maryland Sheep and Wool with the full intentions of not buying yarn, and that did not happen. So, oh shoot, I forgot something else. Let me go grab it really quick. I keep forgetting things. Okay. So, my purchases plan for Maryland Sheep and Wool was to buy fiber and buttons. I don't know what it is, but I'm in constant need of buttons. Like every single fiber festival, which I've only gone to 2, but every single one of the last one and this one, I was just like, I need buttons. I don't know what happens with all my buttons, but I like use them. I must use them because they never leave this room, so I don't think I lose them. But anyway, that was the plan. That did not happen. But let's do the things that I did good at first and then go into the bad parts. So I did buy buttons. I bought quite a lot of buttons. I got these all from the same tent. This is from Holland Hoof Farm store, and I'll show you them. So I got these little squids. I think they're just so adorable in blue. And then I got a chicken because I can. I think I'm gonna put this chicken as like a closure for the Pinguono because it's so adorable. It's so out there. It doesn't make any sense, but I love it. And then I got these blue buttons. All of these are ceramic. And then my last ceramic ones were these ones, which are just little radishes. I do have a sweater quantity of Plutolupi, and I plan on making the Nomad jacket, and I think these buttons will just look beautiful on that. And then I got these little wood buttons. I plan to use either these ones or these ones on this Raya. I think either one will be beautiful. I'm leaning towards the blue, but I think it'll depend on how the button band works up. But yeah, I always try to get an odd number of buttons when I purchase. I don't know if I've read it somewhere or if it's just my eye, but whenever I see an even number of buttons, I always feel like it needs to be an odd number. So I always aim to buy odd numbers. That might just be my weirdness, but yeah. So all the buttons I ever purchase are always in odd numbers. I feel like that's normal though, because I feel like a lot of button sellers sell in odd numbers. I don't know if that's like just my eye like gravitating towards that or not, but anyway. So those are the buttons, and then onto the fiber. So I do have a drop spindle. I have some fiber on it right now, but I have a drop spindle. I have drop spindled before. It's been a while, and I have to admit that drop spindling is not my favorite hobby. I definitely prefer knitting over drop spindling. So, but once it becomes summertime, I'm not inclined to knit anymore. So I brought in my hobbies during the summertime. So spinning is something I already have. So I was like, let me buy some fiber so that I can practice spinning. Makes sense. So I bought from several companies, mostly because I want to test out different fibers. I know that certain fibers are easier to spin than others. And I'm I'm such a process person. So I don't mind investing the time and effort to learn how to spin something more difficult as long as it's entertaining me for that certain period of time. So all the fiber that I bought are all different varieties. So this one that's on the drop spinner right now, this brown, is from this. It's beautiful and soft. My husband says it's probably the best pillow of life. Um, so this. I don't know if you can read that. That's Romedale, 2 ounces, from a Bountiful Farm. And I've already been spinning on it. You can see the little end right here. And I'm loving Romedale. I did not think I would. Mostly because I've never dealt with it. So I really don't know where my prejudice came from. But I'm loving how soft it is. I have learned that this is definitely a shorter staple length, which might contribute to the softness of the spinning. I'm not quite sure if that makes sense, but it's a shorter staple length, so it's like super lofty. I have learned that I prefer to pre-draft and then spin. I think that's just in my brain, in my rhythm, it just makes more sense, and it makes it more consistent. But yeah, so this is this. It's so soft, and it smells so sheepy. And and then I bought this fiber. So this is merino wool with soy, and this is from Spinaway Farms. I was really gravitating towards this color, and I've never spun with merino. I understand the merino is a more difficult wool to spin, but again, it's a learning experience. I'm not going to be perfect at it from the very beginning, so practice makes perfect. And it's a beautiful yellow. It is so soft. It is, so the Romedale is lofty. It's definitely loftier, but it is coarser. This is definitely softer, like softer to the face, soft. I'm assuming it's because it's merino and soy, because that's the only difference I can really see. I mean, like, I don't think being in a braid would make that difference of fiber softer, right? So yeah, this is merino. It's a beautiful yellow. I can't wait to knit or to spin this and then knit it. So, and then the last two I got from Yarn Hero, fiber wise. So I got these 2 braids. These are both 100 gram or 4 ounces, because fiber comes in 4 ounces. This color is, let me see, Green Thumb, and this is in their faux cashmere, which is nylon. My husband actually picked this one out. He was like, oh, this is such a cool, like, so soft. This is so soft. Like, I think I'm gonna make him a hat, because it's so unbelievably soft on the skin. And he was like, oh, get me a pair of socks. And I was like, but don't you want the softness to be like somewhere that you can actually feel the softness? So I'm gonna ignore his wishes and make a hat, because I can. But first I have to spin it. I imagine that this is probably gonna be the hardest thing that I purchased to spin, because I imagine that nylon is not the easiest thing to spin. I imagine it's like the floatiest, and so it'll probably like slip through my hands so fast. So this will probably be the last thing I spin on. So he'll have to wait on that hat for a couple of, let's be honest, days or years. And then I got this braid. It did not come with a tag. I don't know what the color name is, but it's beautiful with yellows, blues, oranges, and greens. And I know this is Falkland. That much I do know. So yeah, I think this is probably going to be the next thing I spin after I finish the Romnedale. I'm not sure if it's going to be easy. It probably won't be. But again, nothing is meant to be easy. So I'm so excited. I think this is going to be beautiful. I kind of want to try to spin this as a single and then spin this as a single and then apply these two together. But I don't know how the colors would work. And I don't really know if plying something Falkland with merino is going to make a huge difference in the end result in yarn. Like, what would that feel like? And how would that knit up? So I'm not sure, but I think these two would work out really beautifully together. So those are all my fiber acquisitions, which I don't think is that bad. So I bought 14 ounces of fiber, which is 350 grams, give or take. So that's not bad. What I did do terribly on is yarn. So the intention was to not buy yarn. But technically I could. So I do have some yarn limitations. I have not, and I will not buy yarn online from a major yarn store. So I'm trying to avoid Knit Picks, Webs, Michaels, Joann's, and Hobby Lobby. So if I'm purchasing yarn online, I'm trying to go with small business, small dyers. The priority would be to buy something in person. So that would be going to my local yarn store and purchasing that item in person. And my last thing is I am allowed to buy yarn at events. So Philadelphia Yarn Crawl, Maryland Sheep and Wool. So this didn't break my rules. It just broke my intentions. So let's go with first Yarn Hero, the ones that I bought the fiber from. I bought several skeins of their, so they also spin their own yarn and then they ply it. And then they have sometimes mismatches because, you know, fiber, you cannot always predict how it's going to spin up and look. So I bought several mismatches. These three I think would work really well in a sweater altogether. This is 300 grams of approximately fingering to sport. I want to lean towards fingering, but I have not done a swatch. I'm just assuming that's fingering because it looks like fingering. So I think these three would look beautiful together. And then this is 75 grams, and I think I can combine this with another color and make a color work hat. I might make the Old Port hat by Andrea Mowry because I think that brioche patterning with this color changing yarn would be beautiful. So this is all from Yarn Hero. It's beautiful, it's soft. There is no label on it, but it feels soft, so I'm assuming it's gonna be possibly merino. Merino is the first thing that comes to mind when I feel it. But, and I want to say it feels like non-superwash, but it's a very soft non-superwash, which is why I'm leaning towards non-superwash merino. But it could be superwash. It doesn't feel like superwash though. I'm gonna stick with my guns and think it's non-superwash merino. So yeah, these are the Yarn Hero. You know, I probably could just find out, but I'm not going to. I like to live on the edge. What can I say? So that's all from Yarn Hero. And then from the same company that I bought this yellow braid from, I got one of their huge skeins. So I am loving yellows. And so I saw this and it was yellows with purples and it's huge. It's, I think it says so right here. 16 ounces, so about 400 grams. And I have no idea what I want to make with this, but it's so big. And it's so lofty. This is definitely non-superwash. Right? Oh no, this is superwash. So this is 75-25 superwash merino nylon. So this is sock yarn. I don't this would be so many pairs of socks to use 16 ounces of sock yarn. What I'm worried about is how am I going to wind this? I might have to hand wind this because I don't think it's going to fit on my ball winder. I don't mind hand winding though. It's going to be so much fun. It's so beautiful. I can't wait. I think it's going to, if I do socks, I'll definitely micro stripe because I mean like that huge part of purple and then the huge part of the yellow and green. Oh, I'm so excited. But yeah, that is my huge acquisitions. It's overwhelming, honestly. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy with everything that I purchased. I don't have any buyer's regret. So, yay for me. I'm so excited. And my last acquisition is something I cannot show you. So I have it over there, like right behind the camera. Or well, this my phone. I bought a vintage spinning wheel. So, story is, I was spinning the Rhondda. I love spinning the Rhondda. It is so much fun. But I don't know how other people do it. I think I don't have very good hand-eye coordination. I've never had very good hand-eye coordination. Let me start with that. And I have found that my hand-eye coordination improves tremendously when when my feet are involved in a movement. So, natural thought process was maybe I should look into a spinning wheel. Looked into it, found new ones. They are very pricey. Rightfully so, but very pricey. And so then I was like, okay, well maybe I'll look for a spinning guild and join that and practice and, you know, make friends and stuff like that. Well, on my search, I ended up on like just looking up for older spinning wheels. I just went down the rabbit hole. And I found a vintage spinning wheel on Facebook Marketplace. In fact, I found a lot of vintage spinning wheels on Facebook Marketplace. Through my research, I discovered that I would like a single treadle castle style spinning wheel. So a spinning wheel that the wheel is below the flyer, so that it's all perpendicular to the floor. Takes up less space, and it's more portable. And lots of reasons. So I found one on Facebook Marketplace. And she was selling it close to my parents' house. I was gonna go see my parents anyway for Mother's Day, so I was like, let's see what happens. I went over. She had a video on her listing. It works. So right over there is a single treadle castle style double drive spinning wheel. I believe it's a flax spinning wheel. I don't think it's a wool spinning wheel, but you can spin anything on a spinning wheel, really. It doesn't really, you don't need a wool spinning wheel to spin wool. It is old. It does work. There are a few things that I would need to do. For one, it needs to be oiled, like lubricated. It is old. It hasn't been used from what the lady has been telling me, for years. She bought it herself from like a Goodwill, so it's probably hasn't seen better days. So it needs to be oiled. The next, I'm just hugging my yarn now. The next thing is it only came with one bobbin and one whirl. Now I was practicing on it yesterday, and I was like, you know what, let me try. So I took some of this fiber, which is the reason why it's not connected to this right now. I tore some off, and I was spinning on it. It spins beautifully. I had to adjust the tension quite a bit, play around with the tension. It works. I need to oil it, and I need to find at least one more bobbin for it. It comes with one bobbin, so I need really two more bobbins. The problem now is there is no maker's mark on it. I don't know who made it. So I'm gonna have to do some research on it, take it apart, try to figure out if there is a make on it. If there is not, take some measurements and see if I can find ones that bobbins that would fit. I did take it apart to see the bobbin. I took off the whirl as well. The whirl has a little star bit at the bottom, at the connecting part. So I know what whirls I need to buy. The bobbins would be a different question. But yeah, anyway, off topic. I bought a spinning wheel. It's sitting over there. It works. It creaks. It's beautiful. I need to practice on it. So yeah, I'm thinking that I'm gonna continue the rondadelle on the drop spindle because it's already on here. And I will probably start, well, once I practice with that some more, probably start with this one on the spinning wheel because I feel like this is going to be an easier fiber to spin versus like merino and nylon. So those are the plans. Of course, these plans all are at a pause right now because the test net. I need to finish it and I want to be a good test knitter, especially since this is my first time. So yeah, I will link everything that I can down below. And if anyone has anything that they want to say, feel free. And I hope you guys all have a good day. Bye.